our studio is like every hour, but we just want to have about 3 clients maximum for the day.
Yeah.
So that way we have more time to support clients and give them proper quality.
That's fantastic.
Because it just looks so good. I've got the doctor that I work with.
Right.
I do treatments for her. She wants to come on, but it's getting her to come to Bromley.
Yeah.
So I said to her, because she was saying, oh, can't you do it? I said, I don't want to do it over Zoom. You've got to get on.
No, you have to. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to come. Have the experience.
And the thing is, it looks good.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen it and go, oh, it looks really good. Well, then, you know, you got travel. Yeah. Sorry. Switch that off. Chandra, you got your phone switched off?
I have, yeah. Well, it's not trying to grab, it's just completely off.
Yeah, because where I had my boots on, my high heel boots last time, everyone kept going to me, they look nice. So I thought I've got to do the thing with the shoes. Right. And you ready, Chandra?
I'm ready for you, yes. They know, of course, I'm a Bollywood celebrity, yeah?
Well, this is it.
Yeah, that's it. Starred in countless films.
Oh, I love it. This is my second home.
Oh, it is. It's beautiful, isn't it? It really is nice. So this is how you're talking to this, is it? You're gonna?
Yeah, you haven't got to hold it though.
No, that's okay.
He's gonna set it all up for you.
Fantastic.
Lower down. So the rule, technically speaking, is about this distance.
Okay.
You're fine.
So it's there. Can I hear my stomach gargling? That's going to be good. No.
I was naughty. I made homemade burgers, chips.
You felt like that today.
Yeah, cheeseburgers and chips. And a little bit of cleavage. Get it a bit more exciting. And it does. I want to get some advertisers on this thing. But I need to speak to you because you do a thingy, don't you, to help with YouTube and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I need to come and have a chat with you. Can you see yourself, Chandra?
No, I can't. Oh yeah, I can see. Oh, there I am. Yes, I see myself now. Could use them for training for Starter Bromley.
Say that again?
Could use them for training for Starter Bromley from people. Yeah. Right.
Oh, I love the iPad idea. Wicked. Welcome, everyone. Today's episode we have.
So where do I look? Do I look? Do I
You're gonna
just
gonna
look
look
at Cheryl? Yeah. Okay. There'll be a side profile on there.
Yeah, the side.
Yeah.
Because what I've done is this is why I'm eating beans on toast.
Good job you don't have this near your stomach then.
No, I'm eating beans on toast because I wanted the 3 cameras so we can have all different angles.
Yeah.
So it looks better.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you do it on Zoom, it's very flat.
Mm.
I don't kind of like it. And the ones that do well are the ones that have the full setup. I've got a girl that does cooking. Have you ever done a cooking one? Yeah. Well, somebody that comes on and has a little bit of food, and I could be your first. Yeah.
As long as I get some of the food.
Isn't it? So I might get her to bring some stuff, and then we sit and talk about the food and what she does and that kind of stuff. Wow, that's close. No, I'm all right with it, but yeah.
Bring it down.
And do you just talk at normal volume, just like we're
Yeah.
talking now, just a chat?
Can you just check if you see my fat belly?
She's very particular.
I am. You said that when you replied and said very thorough.
Oh yeah.
Pain in the ass. I am. Oh yeah, I've got to sit like that with my shoes.
Image is everything, as they say.
Everything.
Yeah.
Chandra, you look like a Bollywood. You do look like a Bollywood actor. Come on now.
I am. I'm going to believe this. I'm going to talk like one. Hello there, Cheryl. How are you?
I love Bollywood. You know, I grew up. All
Yeah.
my friends at school all were into Bollywood big time. So I used to.
Have you ever seen Sholay?
Which one?
Sholay. That's the best
that
one. There's a
recent?
an old one, Western, Indian Western.
Because I used to do. What's her name? What's his name? Shashi Kapoor
My wife said I looked like Rishi Kapoor is his brother.
is his brother.
Yeah, Rishi. Yeah.
Hey. So my friend introduced me to. Yeah, that's it. My friend introduced me to
Do you do any of the Bollywood dancing? Can you do any of the moves?
Not really.
Yeah.
But I've
You
done
go-
a few brides where they were rehearsing the dancing
Yeah.
after I finished doing their makeup.
Right.
They were rehearsing the dancing. That was real cool.
Oh,
That
wow.
was real fun. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Have a great time.
Appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank
we
you very
will.
much. You're going to enjoy this. Nice,
It's nice,
comfy
isn't it?
armchair as well, didn't it? You know.
I'll take the focus off my teeth. I should sit up actually.
You are looking like Oprah there now.
Huh?
You're looking like Oprah now.
Do I?
Yeah, you do. Is that a good thing or a bad thing in your
I
books?
don't know, as long as I get the money.
Oprah's money.
Yeah, Oprah's money. Tell me when we're ready. Oh, ready?
Sorry.
Oh. Hi and welcome to. No, I'm just practicing.
Sorry.
She's rehearsing.
No, when you're ready, just tell me. I'm just practicing.
So I don't look over there at all.
No, you
There's
just got to
10
look at me. He's going to capture everything.
Okay.
So let me turn it myself. So if you look in there, you can see.
So yeah, sure. I was going to ask before I start.
Ready to go? Lovely.
I'm making sure all camera angles.
Yeah.
Everything you like.
Thank you.
Welcome. That's you. That's the both of you.
Yep. Wow.
I'm going to do sound check quickly. So if you just have like a mini conversation between yourselves.
Yep. Hi, Chandra.
Hi, Cheryl. Hi,
Good
how are you?
afternoon and welcome to the Boss Woman podcast.
It's
How are you today?
Oh, brilliant. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Thank you so much. You are a very difficult man to get hold of.
We made
But-
it in the end
We made it in the end, finally.
after years of trying.
I know, it has. It's taken about 2 years to get you here. Are we good? Hey.
Do we get pictures of this room and all that, or do you?
Yeah, when we're finished.
Yeah.
Oh. Actually, we should do it before we start.
Can we get a picture now? Type of thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
please. If you go into my bag. No, just go. Listen, how old are you? 19. I got a 22-year-old. Just go in my bag. Yep, the big one. That's it. 4816 is the code. Fab. Yeah, and if you can do a couple on portrait and a landscape as well. And do you want your phone to
Yeah.
take a couple?
I'll better switch it on.
Yeah. And if you can do
Or you
it-
can just send it on to me.
I'll just send it on
Yeah,
to you.
send it on
Yeah.
to me. Otherwise, I'll. Yeah.
And if you can do me like a couple of clips so that I can put them as a trailer.
Okay.
What's coming? Are we ready to go? Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Boss Woman podcast, where we bring you inspirational people, men and women who are big in the community, people who take time to find out what is going on, how they can help other members of the public, other members of the community, and those especially in business. And today's guest, we are so lucky to have Chandra.
Chandra?
Sharma.
Sharma.
We are so lucky to have Chandra Sharma, who is, and I had to write this down, everyone. He's a supporter and entrepreneur for small business in the Bromley area. He's also the business support manager
That's right.
of Startup Bromley
Startup Bromley.
and also the Federation of Small Business Lead for the London Borough of Bromley.
That's correct.
Welcome, everyone, to Chandra Sharma. Good
Thank you. It's
afternoon.
great to be here.
I'm going to say do one more, just so you got two.
One more photo? One more start?
Yeah, one more.
Yeah, because that was, yeah. Let me start again.
Chandra Sharma.
Yeah. See, I was not there.
It's a mouthful.
Good afternoon. Oh,
Take 3.
1, 2, 3. Hello and welcome to the Boss Woman podcast, where we introduce you to those who are inspirational in the community and people who are looking forward to promoting their businesses, showing you different tips and tricks for your business, for you to promote your business, for you to become an entrepreneur. Leading today's show and my special guest is Chandra Sharma. Now, Chandra is very important in the Bromley community. He is a supporter of small businesses and entrepreneurs. He's also the business support manager of Startup Bromley, and also works with the Federation of Small Businesses in the UK, and he is the Federation lead for London Borough of Bromley.
That's correct.
I am honoured, Chandra.
I'm equally honoured to be on your podcast, Cheryl.
So, Mr. Sharma, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us who you are and what you do?
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh,
We're so live.
Yeah. So,
And we're not live.
no.
No.
That was for the intro. That was just for
yeah,
the intro.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So everything's done.
Switch this
And
up.
if we need to, I can redo the start again. I can do it at the end.
If you wanted to redo the start, you can start again. Did you? Is everything on mute or?
Yeah, it's on silent now. And then we'll just take some pictures at the end. We'll do some selfies.
Yeah.
Broadcast recording now. Daytime recording. Broadcast recording now.
So, Chandra, we're going to have a little bit of history here. So you arrived in the UK around about age of 6.
That's correct.
And you settled in the West Midlands.
Yes, I'm a Brommy.
You're a
in Dudley,
Brommy.
West Midlands, yes.
And why did Mum and Dad go to Bromley? Or how did you settle in the West Midlands?
My dad originally came and stayed in Gravesend. He came with one of his friends. They were called on the voucher system from India, where they needed labourers. And once he settled, he had friends in Dudley, West Midlands, and they all moved in together. So my dad and his brother both stayed together and set up in Bromley. Sorry, Bromley? In Dudley.
We're obsessed with Bromley. Oh, yeah, we have to do a mention at the end for the football.
Yes, absolutely.
We must mention the football. So you went to school and everything. How was school life for you in the Midlands?
School was good. I was only 6, went to local primary school. I remember it was snowing when we came, and I'd never seen snow before. So I enjoyed the primary school, and then somehow I managed to get into the local grammar school by hook or by crook. My dad, I think, he wanted me to go there. That was one of his wishes. I'm one of 5 children. I've got 2 elder brothers and 1 elder sister and 1 younger sister. So I'm the second baby of the family there. But I saw the pride in my dad when he bought the uniform. He bought me an executive case, which I've still got upstairs in the loft.
Still got today?
And I've still got all my exercise books from school.
Have you?
Yeah, absolutely got the exercise books from school there. It's there as a treasure, as a momentum.
That's so
And
good.
also to just, show the investment that they'd put in me. So, yeah, no, it was good. It was
and
interesting.
how was grammar school? Because I just did the comprehensive, and then I knew I wanted to go and do fashion and beauty, so I did comprehensive school and got out of that school. I did do sixth form, but I went straight. So you went to grammar school.
Yeah, no, it was a very strict school. Never come across anything like that before. My brothers had gone to secondary schools, and I used to hear about the rough and tumble of secondary schools.
Yeah.
So I think I was quite glad that it was in a contained environment. But yeah, there was a lot of discipline. My dad just wanted me to do 3 sciences and 3 languages, and that was strange because in terms of sciences, it was physics, chemistry, and biology, and in terms of languages, it was French, German, and Latin, of all the things.
And I remember, is Latin out of the school curriculum now?
I think it is now, yeah.
Yes.
But actually, Latin was really good to do
Did you
because
enjoy it?
it gave me a base for English and some of the other languages, because a lot of the
Right.
languages
Yes.
derive from Latin. So yeah, I did enjoy that.
Wow. So it seems for your current managerial position, you seem like you're a very social person. And I know, like with myself, we on social media
Yeah.
we appear a certain way,
Yeah.
and sometimes we're not. But you are actually quite a social person.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, you are. So, as a young person growing up, were you of that nature, or is it something you've grown to observe, something you've grown to understand that you have to do within a managerial post?
I think growing up, I was very shy. I've got brothers who are older, an older sister and a younger sister. So, and we also had a fairly strict household as well. It's a typical Asian household where there was no nonsense at all. You had to study, you had to work hard. You didn't necessarily have to play hard, but you had to work
You
hard.
had to work hard.
So there was a lot of discipline, and actually proper discipline, the old case discipline that you had at home there. And I was a bit scared of that. And I saw my brothers getting that kind of discipline because
Yeah.
my brother's 2 years older than me. He always tried everything first. So we let him try everything first.
See, I was the oldest, so I was the one that always got in trouble for stuff that I didn't even do.
Yeah.
So I was the one that got in trouble. So I understand where you're coming from with that. And some of the challenges that you faced, going to grammar school, did you get bullied or?
I don't think I got bullied, and I don't think there was any racist sort of elements, but there were undertones and things
Yes.
in there. I think grammar schools are similar to a public school type of thing there, where there's immense discipline, there's camaraderie between certain people, and I stood out because I was one of the only Asians there.
Yes.
So I did stand out there. So I kept myself to myself. I still have a school friend from that grammar school who's still one of my best friends here. So over 50 years later, we still are friends. Yeah, no.
That's really good because nowadays people
Yep.
ships passing in the night and people don't.
Well, I
look
think you
back
get
on
drawn to certain people, and I think we were of similar sort of nature, similar sort of values, and that's what I took from that. You get drawn to people, and you remain friends. So yeah.
Mm. And you went on the whole way. So from there, you went on to university.
Yes, I did. Yeah, it was a polytechnic actually. Now universities were the top, but in the A levels, unfortunately, I didn't get the grades that I needed to get, and Manchester Polytechnic was there, which was less strict than a university. My brother and I went at the same time to university. He's 2 years older, but he decided to go to London, and I decided to go to Manchester. We wanted to be apart because we wanted to have a social life.
Social life without the other member of the family knowing all
Absolutely.
your secrets.
Yeah, absolutely. And we had a whale of a time. I certainly had a whale of a
Yeah,
time at Manchester. All the things I couldn't do at home while I was living at home, you could certainly do. The world was your oyster,
Yes,
and
yeah.
certainly made most of that.
Yeah. And what was your favourite part of the course that you were doing? What
I
was your
actually,
course?
I liked law. There was accounting, there was law, there was economics, there was lots of different elements. A degree was in economics, but it gave you an overview of various different things. And law seemed to appeal to me. There was a lot of reading, a lot of learning, a lot of cases, a lot of precedents and all that sort of thing. And somehow that appealed to me. And I still actually think I should have probably gone down that route. I mean, I watched lots of crime dramas now and how cases are solved and
Yes, yes.
how people fight cases. So, yeah, it's something that I really enjoyed, yeah.
Well, I saw somebody the other day, I'm sure they were about 70 something.
Right.
And they'd just done their law degree. So you never
Oh,
took
wow.
it yet. So there's always chance you could go back and do it.
Well, one of my clients, a firm of solicitors in Orpington, he started at the age of 60-something. And, yeah, he became a lawyer. He was a physicist before that. So there you go. Yeah, it's
See?
never too late.
So I could even see you being a judge.
Well, I could do the wig to cover this hair.
So within your work, there's quite a few companies that you do work for and you represent quite well, and you've gone on to show certain skills as an entrepreneur. Do you believe you went on to retail?
Yes.
Which, coming from your economics and everything, it was interesting to see the retail element and working in retail as I've done for many years. How did you find going into retail and the companies that you worked with in relation to what you're doing now? Do you think it is a good standing for people to do some form of retail?
I think, yeah, absolutely. And I think the retail came from, apart from the degree, came from my dad had a shop. So he opened up a shop in a town called Netherton, which is just down the road from Dudley. And it was a community-based shop. So people came in, he sold clothes, he sold all sorts of things for ladies and gents and children's wear. And that's where we got our skills. So we did window display there. I quite like doing window display, use creative sort of sense. We went purchasing to the local warehouses, so we understood negotiation. My dad was a good negotiator. So, yeah, that sort of appealed to me. The retail thing was, I think, on milk rounds in universities, people used to come round, and I think Marks and Spencer's came round and everything else. Unfortunately, I didn't make their grade, but I applied to a few others, and a company called B&Q Retail came along, and thought, never heard of this company at all. And little did I know how big they were going to be. And I was one of their first trainees. I think that was the first intake of graduate trainees, which was a 9-month program. But I loved it so much. I became a department manager, heading up a department within the first 6 months. I was tugging on the manager's coattails, saying, "Look, I want to go. I want to go. I want to go. I want to be what you are." Because I had this thing about managers sitting in their offices and directing people through teams, motivating teams, and all the rest of it there. So it was good. But the good thing was it gave us a grounding in every single aspect of retail, from finance. So we're on the tills, we're in the cash office, we're in the warehouse. I drove a forklift truck at the age of 22 or so, which was amazing. On the shop floor, facing up at nights, doing all those sort of things, treating customers as kings,
Yes.
the customer service element of it, looking at competition, doing analysis. So it was fantastic grounding, really was.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. I mean, I started off, I think my first retail job was in Topshop
Right.
on Oxford Circus.
Yes.
Yes.
That would have been busy.
Yeah, and it was eye-opening because I come from being with mum and dad, and then I went into Topshop, and I was like, oh my goodness. So again, exactly what you said,
Yep.
the retail aspect. And I think for any entrepreneur that's going into opening their own business, there is selling. At
Yep.
some point, you're going to be
Absolutely.
selling.
Yeah.
And understanding how you get to make the sale, to deal with the customers in case there's any refunds,
Yep.
exchanges. You need to understand the basics, and
You
retail
have
is
to.
excellent. As you just said, retail is an excellent
I
way.
think it's like when I know when people buy a McDonald's franchise, they have to do everything,
Yes.
from cleaning the floors to flipping the burgers to managing the team. You have to do everything. And I think that's essential, that you learn everything, because that grounds you as well, and it doesn't make you so high and mighty when you get to the position of a manager or an area manager or so. You understand every single aspect of that role, and no one can take the mickey then either. So that's good.
Because you know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
And do you think that whereas now they don't necessarily do as many apprenticeships
Yep.
within retail now
Yeah.
as they used to? Because I remember when I first went to work in Harrods,
Yeah.
we had to go in and you did your training, and you weren't allowed on the shop floor
Yeah.
until you'd pass certain
Yeah.
elements. Do you think that should definitely come back? Do you think they should look towards doing that?
I think so. I think it's important, and I think retail is still important, although there's the advent of online and various other things. But I think retail is still important. Still plays an important part. So yes, there should be apprenticeships in
Yeah.
retail. I think there are still retail degrees as well.
Ah,
Yeah. So some of the universities do retail degrees, which is
Yeah.
good.
which is really good. So, and working within the local community, because you've gone from retail, you've done the managerial, and now you're within the local community.
Yep.
Now your roles are varied.
Yep.
And you started off with a company called Orpington First.
Yes, well, I set up a business in Orpington way back, I think it's 1995 or so. Yeah, we moved to Orpington in 1997, and then I set up my business there. But I felt that I needed to do something to contribute to the local economy, because that would have an effect on my business. So I then found that in the town of Orpington there was a steering group and the steering group actually steered the whole thing. So you had the town centre manager, you had a councillor, you had somebody from a large business, and I thought, wow, this is just amazing because you can actually make a difference to your community, your town, and that really appealed to me. And I thought, in turn, that would make a difference to my business. So yeah, that's how I started, and from there, I set up a traders forum called the Orpington Business Forum.
I didn't know that was you.
Yeah, that was me. Yes, I set up the OBF. I was asked to set it up by the town centre manager at the time, and I remember our very first meeting. It was in the Priory Pub in Orpington. We asked somebody from the council, I think he was a deputy executive from the council, to come, and we gathered all the traders from the town. And the first bit was just almost bashing the council, because
support.
Everyone's got issues. They've got problems with its business rates and rents and all the rest of it there. So we needed to get that baggage out the way. And to be, kind to the director who was there, he took it all. And then thought, right, okay, what are we going to do about it? So we set a little committee of somebody who looked after the environment, for example, chewing gums on streets and things. And she was just amazing. She was really amazing. She took the council to task, and they actually did help us. We'd looked at somebody on vacant units. We looked at somebody on safer neighbourhood and all the rest of it there, because that's what drew people into the town. So the Traders Forum was really successful. We used to meet once a month, and actually people became friends. And some of those people are still friends with me, even though they're not in business now. We still are friends. And it was that sense of community that I wanted to create. And we thankfully created that. That then led to the first business improvement district in Orpington.
Oh, okay.
So that's how I became the one of the directors on the Orpington First Business Improvement District. Yeah.
And you always, I think, obviously from going back to your childhood, you always seem to have the strength and the ability to drive others.
Yep.
To commit, to dedicate some time.
Yep.
And then from that, it grows into this big conglomerate.
It is, yeah.
And community.
Yeah.
So I know Orpington First. And then since then, you've moved on, and you've gone on from strength to strength, and you weren't satisfied with just doing the Orpington First. You've also contributed at the Federation of Small Businesses as well.
That's correct. And that came about because I was leading a campaign for keeping trade local in Orpington. It was coming up to Christmas. We needed someone to galvanise the whole town. We needed to maximise turnover for residents. And I approached the Federation of Small Businesses. I've become a member, and said, look, can you do something? They did a pull-out spread for us, supporting small businesses, keeping trade local, adverts that we had in there. And they saw what I was doing and said, well, would you mind just representing us to the London Borough of Bromley? And people often say, and probably one of my biggest weaknesses is I can't say no.
You can't. No, you don't.
No,
to anything.
I do. It is difficult to say no. And it was a great honour to be able to represent them to the London Borough of Bromley. The FSB is a fantastic organisation which has been going since 1974. And it's run a lot by volunteers. There are some paid members. And I was one of those volunteers. And it gave me a chance to engage with the council to get a good deal for them. And the way that I always preferred it, even through the OBF, was not to antagonise people, is to work with them. And that's my whole thing, is working with people rather than antagonising. You get a lot more done. And my whole thing is I don't care who gets the credit as long as something gets done. I didn't want the credit. I just wanted things done. And that's the way we approached it.
That's a really generous human spirit that you have, because most people want the credit.
Yep.
The work might not be to a certain standard, but you have your standards, certain recognitions. And I noticed that within, even on your posts on social media, anything you do, I noticed that you do spread the community spirit and always give back to who has achieved. You're always mentioning people that have done greatness. I saw you at the Bromley football.
That was amazing.
Yeah. I missed it all because I was working again. So I missed it. And then I came home and I saw your post. I was like, oh my God, they won. So,
celebrating success is something that's really close to my heart, I think.
Yeah.
And one of the things we did when I was at the OBF, and then it subsequently got taken over by Open First, was to have a magazine that created positive news. From the local media, we were always getting negative news about business
Yeah.
failure, about stabbings, about this, that.
Yes.
And, negativity drives negativity.
Yeah.
So we had a magazine which had 14 pages of editorial that we controlled. And I wanted to celebrate success. So new business opens up in town. Let's celebrate it.
Let's celebrate.
Let's
It's
get
true.
people there. And it's even the same now with my role here at Startup Bromley, and I'm sure we'll talk about it more, is when somebody comes with an idea, let's promote that person.
Yeah,
Let's give them,
don't- I
give
have
them love.
to tell everybody we were waiting backstage in kind of the green room area,
Yeah.
so, which is before you come on to
Yeah.
record your podcast. And I did a little pitch to Chandra about doing something, and he did not say no. You were just like, oh yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
So you have got that by nature,
Yeah.
and you do deliver, which is what a lot of people don't do. They
Oh,
don't
thank
follow
you.
it up,
Yeah.
and they don't deliver. So you were nominated FSB Volunteer Champion.
Yes, I've been a volunteer champion with the FSB. I've been, it's been grateful to receive some of the awards. And the awards that I like receiving are the ones that you're not entering them yourselves, but other people are nominating you for that.
Yeah.
And that was good, to be a volunteer champion. I was one of a few there, including Bayo. I think you've interviewed
Yes,
as well.
yes.
And he's done some great work. And it's people like Bayo, people like myself, people who want to put themselves out there. A lot of people want things done, but they don't want to.
They don't want to give.
They don't want to give.
And that is difficult. And going back to where you were mentioning about the negativity,
Yep.
That's unfortunately in media.
Yeah.
That's what the highlight is. Businesses are failing by this
Yeah.
amount. As you mentioned about the stabbings, don't come to this city, don't
Yeah.
come to this town. There is a lot of that, and within
Yeah.
the media, they feed that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
Which is why I created this podcast, because I wanted to highlight those within the local areas who are doing things that are worthwhile, who are
fantastic.
supporting other small businesses, because it is difficult.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to start a business and not be able to have any of the grants or any of the things
Yeah.
that are out
Yeah.
there. But people are making that change, and they are challenging,
Yeah.
and working through. And you're one of these people that are helping our local people and our local businesses. And
No, I
helping
love
me
doing
too.
that, and I'll continue to do that till the end of my days. And I think I mentioned earlier, it all comes from your values. I was brought up in a fairly strict household, but parents had values. And those values stayed with me: care, trust, respect, integrity, professionalism, and those are the values that I live with. So, whether I'm talking to the person who comes and collect our rubbish on a Tuesday, you treat them with the equal amount of respect. Yeah.
My father always said that
Yeah.
to me. From the doorman
Yeah.
to the cleaner,
Yeah.
you always, good morning, how are you, sir,
Yeah.
madam?
Absolutely.
Always, doesn't matter who it is. And even this down to this morning, normally taking the subject off somewhere else, the guys that come to collect my rubbish, they normally come at 6:30.
Yeah.
5:30 for some reason, I heard and so I got up, I go down, and I do my rubbish when they
Yeah.
come. And the guy very kindly, because I wasn't ready, put my rubbish where it was supposed to
Yeah.
have been. And I went out and I said, oh, hi, thank you so much. Why have you moved? And he said, the rounds have got bigger.
Yeah.
Now, if I had been Mrs.
Yeah.
not taking notice of them, not nice to them, he wouldn't have moved.
No,
my-
absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's a good trait, and a good human trait to have, is to recognize other human beings when they are either in need, or even if they're not in need,
Yeah.
and make sure that you are supporting each other. We all need support.
We're all human beings. We're all
Yeah.
from the same race.
And you're
very,
very good at that.
thank you very much. It's something that I love doing, and that's why I do what I do.
It comes across.
Thank you.
So as a business owner, what strategies do you think people should put in place within their business to ensure that they are getting some kind of feedback, that their business is out there, that people know they're around? How does that work within Startup Bromley, where you currently are now?
So the first thing is just having a plan, having a vision. What do you want for your business? Having that vision and putting it right in front of you, wherever you're sitting, whether it's on your laptop, or in front, just that vision. I want to buy a house. I want to buy a car. I want to go on holiday. That's the first thing. That's your vision. Then you set your goals as a result of that vision there. So, right, okay, I want to do this in 10 years' time. In 10 years' time, I want to go on a cruise somewhere, okay? 6-month cruise. Okay, so what do I need to do to get on that 6-month cruise? And then you work yourself backwards there. So you then create your plan, create your goal. So the business plan is the most important thing, really, is to look at that business plan. But the business plan is often just done for banks. But the business plan that you should do is for yourself, that you should look at every single day, every single week, and see how you're keeping on track. And the elements of the business plan are so important. The marketing, the promotions, the PR, the finance is exceptionally important, the cash flow, all of those sort of things, because those are the things that are going to make you a success. And quite often people tend to fail because they haven't spent enough time doing that business plan. And then I think you've got to get yourself out there. You've got to promote yourself. And we're fortunate now that we've got so many free platforms, such as social media, to do that. It's out of people's comfort zone. This is out of my comfort zone totally.
This is so out of my comfort zone.
What I love is it feels like a normal conversation. So we're sitting in the front room.
We're in the front room just having a conversation.
Absolutely. So that's important. Having that clear vision, having that business plan, and sticking to it as well. And that's why I guess things like franchising. I've operated a couple of franchises.
Yes, you have.
Successful because they have a model that's been tried and tested. When you go into business yourself, you haven't got that model. You just got you, and that's where business fail more in the first few years than they do as a franchise.
Yeah. Because once they've got that set, I watched something the other day on the McDonald's story, and that's so interesting because it is. They know they can do a burger in 3 minutes. They know that it's going to take them X amount of time to clean the fryers. Everything is
timed.
And we don't necessarily do that with our businesses, and especially small business owners. It's wing and a prayer. I might call somebody at 3 o'clock on Thursday. Whereas in big corporations, everything is planned. There is no room for error.
Well, one of the business that I had, the franchise, was a recruitment franchise straight after leaving retail. I mean, I left retail because at the end of the day, I thought, well, I'm doing this for someone else. I can do it for myself. And the franchise, which is a recruitment franchise, had a fixed model. You had to make 40 calls in the morning, 40 in the afternoon. You had to look at all the objections, analyze the objections, and get better. And if you didn't do that, you wouldn't be successful. So 40 calls in the morning meant you get through to 10 people. 10 people means that you get to speak to 2 decision makers. And out of that, you may get either a job or you may get a candidate. So it was very, very structured
very rigid,
in terms of that. And they also used to call it prime selling time, which is PST, which is between 9 and 11. That's your prime selling time. No emails, no phones, nothing at all, just total focus. And that really taught me a lot. And after 11 o'clock, you do whatever you want. Catch up on phone calls and everything
I'm going to
else.
try that.
It works. It works.
I'm so going to try. Because I have to say, if I'm doing any phone calls to whether it's my own personal admin or anything, I usually try and do it first thing in the morning. I'm not very good in the evenings. I'm tired. And then I make mistakes. So I am going to do 9 to 11.
9 till 11. PST it's called. Your prime selling time, or whatever you call
you
it.
Heard it here, Mr. Sharma.
But these days you have too many distractions. So you have your phone by your side with your computer. Something pings up, it's Facebook. Oh, let me just have a look at that. TikTok picks up, let me just have a look at that.
True.
Or an email comes through and say, oh, I must answer that. But those are distractions. The more focused you are, the more successful you're going to be.
9 to 11, that's such a good tip. A good business tip.
Thank you.
So during 2014, you had a few devastating things take place within your life. Would you like to share?
2014 was it was a difficult year. We'd just come back from my niece's engagement. We were in Coventry. Travelled back to Croydon, where my sister-in-law lives, and we were just having a time. About 8 o'clock at night, suddenly get a phone call saying your shop's on fire. I thought, what? Shop's on fire? How can it be? And then, the first thing was, is everyone safe? The shop is downstairs. The tenanted flat upstairs there. That was the first concern. Then we raced down to find 4 fire engines there, putting out the fire and everything else. So it was a really, really difficult time. I mean, the concern was, my God, is everyone safe? And once we knew that people were safe, then the rest is just practicalities, and you just have to deal with that. So how do you deal with crisis?
Yeah, how do you do?
Yeah. And you have to have a level head on you. And that, thankfully, I think we managed to do that. And part of the success of getting out of that was the community spirit that I'd built with people. So Brian from across the road, and I'll give him a mention because Brian's a great bloke.
Hi, Brian.
Hi, Brian. He manages a shop called Im's Carpets. And
I know them.
yes,
Yeah.
and with Brian, we always had a laugh and joke. We helped him, we helped each other. And he saw what I'd done with the local community. So when it came to the fire, first thing he said, well, you can have your deliveries here. Yeah, that's no problem. The people upstairs in the office who are financial advisors. Okay, we've got a desk here. Come upstairs. We'll have a desk here. And nobody really realized that, we'd had this devastation or the fire. We just carried on trading as normally as we could do.
That's excellent.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
It's a really important factor for people to understand that community and family.
Yes.
If you don't make those commitments,
Yep.
You wouldn't have had that.
No,
and then you would have had the fire, and then it would be even more traumatic than it already was.
Yeah.
For you to try and sustain a business during this time.
Yeah, my motto, and I often tell people, is give without expecting to receive.
Yes.
And that's the way that I live my life. Is that I'm very much a giving person. I don't want anything back. I don't want the credit or anything like that. But if you start off with that, one, you can't be disappointed if you don't get anything back.
Exactly.
And secondly, it just gives you a sense of satisfaction. I get that sense of satisfaction. People in the community who became friends from the trade, saw what I'd done, were all there. I used to go to the... it used to take me 5 minutes to before the business forum to walk to the bank from one end of the high street to the other. Once we set the business forum, it used to take me an hour because I'd pop into the shop and say, hi, how are you? How are you? And
You can't go down the street.
I spent an hour, but what I did was I loved that because I was listening to what people were doing and what they were saying. And I'd go in to the barbers and he said, sit down, no charge for this haircut.
Oh.
Sit down, have a cup of coffee, no charge. And I thought, oh, that's so nice of them, but they didn't need to do that.
That's lovely.
And I said, your businesses, I want to give to you. But that's what community does to you. If you give them, they'll give back in
Yes.
abundance. And that happened in the fire.
And then further to that devastation, you then had another
Yeah.
series of loss. So can you explain what happened?
Yeah, I mean, the fire is something that you can handle. It's a practical sort of thing. But the biggest loss was the loss of my dad. My dad, 91 years of age. He walked every single day. I mean, I'm totally inspired by him now. I'm 60-something now. I won't give away my total age. But my dad was doing yoga, standing on one foot at the age of 85, 90, go on his daily walk every single day. Routine, discipline, he had it all there. And he lived with my brother in Wanstead on the other side of the river there. And it was just, they went out for a walk. It was just a normal day. In fact, I do remember because it's in this coming up, it's after the Whitsun Bank holiday.
Right.
It was raining really badly that day, and I remember the rain and everything else. And then all of a sudden, I get a phone call about 11 o'clock from my brother saying, something awful's happened. So what? Dad's been taken to hospital. And yeah, I raced to the hospital, the one on the city road going towards London. And unfortunately, my dad passed away within 2 hours of having an accident. He was crossing a zebra crossing. He was halfway through the zebra crossing. Lady turned around the corner, knocked him over, and he was gone within 2 hours. The hospital kept him alive, I guess. All I saw, I remember it very vividly, was a carrier bag with,
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah. I lost my dad, and
Yeah.
I remember having to go. And we had to fly to the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And I remember going into the room, and they're in those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was a carrier bag, and my dad was
Yeah,
famous for his hat. His hat.
Did he?
He was a gentleman. He wore a hat with a feather cap in there, feather in there, and his glasses, and that's all I could see at the top of there.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate because we spent the last couple of hours with him. The rest of my family were driving over from Dudley in the West Midlands. He'd gone by that time.
Mm.
So yeah, this was devastating. I mean, and it was sad because when someone has an illness, you have time to
You have time
say
yeah.
something, talk to them. And my mum had the illness, and we had a year to talk to her and tell her how much we loved her. We didn't have that time with Dad, but the difficult thing was we then had to go through a trial as well because the driver had killed a person.
Okay.
So it was at the Old Bailey, and I remember the trial, and I thought I was a weaker one in the family. I thought I'm not going to be able to cope with this, but I found that other members of my family had fallen apart, and I had to be the stronger one.
Oh.
So the trial was difficult, but it was made even more difficult because the judge then said, "Look, hang on, some of the facts and figures that the police have got are not correct. We're dismissing this trial. Come back in another few months' time for another trial." So that was difficult. And the second trial happened, the same old thing. And, the worst thing was the driver got away scot-free. Not even a
That's
penalty
really sad.
point, nothing. And there was no justice, we felt, had been done. So we tried to lead a campaign to see, well, what can be done? How can zebra crossings be made safer?
Yes.
So we met with the leader of Redbridge Council, and he's still the leader there. We wrote off to the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan at the time. We met with his deputy for transport, and we looked at how roads could be made safer. We led a petition to make roads safer. To be honest, no one spent any money. The council didn't have the money to spend on a pelican crossing, which is what it needed. And the best thing we've got, and it's still there, is a stop sign rather than a give way sign. So it was a
Right.
small victory.
Yeah. So,
But we got something done, and hopefully it's made things a little bit safer in that area. And then
Mhm.
we've got a bench there for Dad overlooking where he used to love going in
That's
Wanstead.
nice.
So that's got Mum and Dad's name on there. But yeah, that was a particularly difficult time. And during that time, I just gave up everything. All the things I said yes to, I said, no, I
No.
can't do it.
Yeah, because you need that time for yourself and for your healing.
Yeah, and I took counselling as well, which, it's sometimes difficult. You don't know if somebody else who doesn't know you can help you, but it really did help.
Yeah.
And I needed that for myself because I was supporting other people. So that's important. Everybody needs something,
Yeah.
We're not all
We're not all
strong.
no, not
Yeah.
all that. And I remember going for counselling when I knew my dad wasn't well.
Yeah.
I went before.
Yeah.
Whereas my brothers, bless them, they they had the phone call,
Yeah.
and then it's how you handle it, and then I have to, like yourself, be strong for everybody else. But you use your experiences to draw strength and
Yes.
take you on to the next stage, and I noticed that about you.
Yeah.
Your strength comes from your family and your
Yeah.
friends, and you do take that on. So during those moments, are there any setbacks that you think, I'm gonna, going forward, I know this about me, I've learnt this about me during the counselling, and I'm going to use that element of strength within my businesses going forward?
Yes, it gives you inner strength. It's resilience, I guess. Just like with the fire, you had to. I knew I had no option. I had to carry on. With the loss of my parents, I knew how much they'd invested in me all the time, and the trouble bringing us over from India, saving all that money. All those things flash back at you. Say, look, I owe it to them to carry on, and you have that resilience, and you just say, I'm just going to carry on.
Just going to carry on.
And you learn lessons from it as well.
Yeah.
When I actually remember one of the things I didn't say was after the fire, and this is again the community sense that I've developed. The day after the fire, I had an AGM for annual general meeting for the FSB, and we had a speaker there. We were all over the place, and I still carried on doing that because it was a duty. It was important. I'd already promised people, and everything went well. So resilience is important. Having a disaster recovery plan for your business is really important as well.
Yes. And especially, I suppose, we saw that during COVID.
Yes.
Where so many people then realised, oh my goodness, I haven't got.
Yeah.
And even with myself, because I was working for a brand and I got made redundant, and I kind of didn't have a backup plan
Yeah.
in place because, you know, you're going along enjoying life. And I just remember they're shutting everything down. What do you mean they're shutting everything down? So those people, and some people managed.
Yeah.
Some people thrived.
Yeah.
Even though, you know, we know people passed away and so on during COVID. But it was having that backup plan. And a lot of companies that we worked for, we knew within our local community, didn't have any backup plan.
No.
And they either, you know, lost their businesses or... But most of us didn't have a backup plan. We didn't see it coming at all.
And, you know, actually during COVID, it gave people a chance to think, and there were a lot of new businesses created during COVID, things that people hadn't even thought of. I think what the important thing, devastating as it was, and I lost a relative through COVID, so it was extremely devastating, but it was that it took you off a treadmill, because we're on the treadmill, no one has time, you're running around like a headless chicken. And and what COVID did was, well, no, everywhere's shut, you're going to have to stay at home.
Yes.
You're going to have to take time for yourself, you're going to have to do whatever it is. And actually it gave you that breathing space, time to think, time to relax, trying to spend time with your family, with your loved ones, make phone calls that you hadn't made. Yeah, keep in contact. The care, the community and everything else all came into that. Taking up hobbies. I was in my shed for 3 months repairing things.
I was out digging and doing an allotment. It was at the weirdest time.
Yeah.
You know, not taking away the fact that we lost so many people, but it was the weirdest time. And as you said, some people became entrepreneurs. Some people became millionaires. They thought of things that businesses hadn't thought of. It was a time for opening up. And do you think now, 2024, we're 4 years down the road, do you think that people have used that experience to grow with their business, or do you think people are kind of now going back to the same thing that they did before, not having the backup plan, going on a wing and a prayer? Do you think people are doing that, or do you think they are ready and prepared in case of an eventuality?
I think it taught people a lot, and I think it did teach them about a backup plan, and that nothing is for certain there. And I think that, you know, people did grow their businesses after that. It depends on your mindset, really, whether you had a positive mindset or the growth mindset or the negative mindset. Some people think, well, that's it, I'm done. You know, I'll just take my furlough and I'll go back to go back to
I'll go back to being at home.
Yeah. Or some people thought, no, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to do something. And yeah, there have been some incredible businesses. And I think people have learnt lessons. People have learned that you need to have a backup plan. If something like this happens or another disaster happens, what are you going to do? Yeah. So I think it's taught a few lessons. I guess there was plus and negatives. People are working from home and people are still working from home, but you then lose your social skills, because a lot of social skills are developed at work. Lots of friendships are developed at work. It's now time that people got back to work.
Yes. I didn't know people were still on furlough.
They're not on furlough, but people are working from home.
They're working from home.
So people are managing their time. And in a way, it's good, because if you've got children, you've got chores to do and everything else, you can manage your time. There's flexibility, but you need people back in work.
Yeah.
My business relies on people being in work.
It's true. It's true. And you've decided to go forward, and you've become a new business. You have a new business partnership.
Yep.
With Zeenat Noorani, who I know very well.
Yes. Well, that was again COVID time, just before COVID. That was one of the things I wanted to do. I've always been interested in people. I've always been interested in communicating, and I think that's an essential skill that you need to have. And it goes back to many years, actually, when I was at B&Q as a I think as a manager. We were sent on a communications skills course, and there were different people from different industries. And the first thing they actually did, they were videoing people like this. And all you had to do was introduce yourself. Hi, my name's Chandra Sharma. I'm from B&Q, and I'm a store manager.
So you said that.
And then,
said that very well.
Yeah, and the next thing that the people say, well, what effect did that person have on you? Oh, well, I've only just said my name. And it's important that the impression that you make in the first 10 to 15 seconds counts. And it was surprising how people came back and what impression you made. So I thought, well, this is just something important. It taught me a valuable lesson. And I kept that with me. And then I thought, well, we need to do something about skills and communication and language. And I then sought out for somebody who had the science behind it. I could do the talk, but I needed someone with the science.
Yes.
And through the FSB, I asked a chap who was the membership advisor at the time, Push, if he knew anyone who was NLP qualified, and he came up with ZNAT. He brought ZNAT to a charity event I was doing at the shop because we supported Macmillan for a number of years. Brought it to the shop, and then we sort of hit it off from there. So she does the science behind that, the NLP, which is extremely important, and I do the talk, the mingling with people, the social skills, and all those sort of things.
So have you set it, so is it something that people can have an appointment? How does it work?
So we can train either in Bromley at the site just not too far away from here. We did on Zoom during COVID. We're currently working with a client with a chain of 3 restaurants in Bromley. We're delivering customer service training to them. We've done it with a firm of accountants where we deliver customer service with an IT company where language is important because they talk techie language. People don't understand techie language.
Yes.
So that's important. So so we work in different ways with different people. And I love that because that's part and parcel of what I love doing.
And within the business and the economics of what you do, and you're doing and the work with ZNAT, how do you create and keep yourself healthy? How do you maintain that healthy mindset?
That's something I've struggled with, I must admit. Be honest, having a business is very stressful. It can be very, very stressful. It's long hours. I mean, people often think, I'll set up business and I'll be my own boss. I'll have my time.
And I'm going to make millions in Lana Beach and wherever.
But the realities of it is,
reality.
at 11 o'clock at night, you're still doing night. I heard somebody say their boss, he's got a notebook by his side. He wakes up at 1 o'clock in the morning, thinks of something, writes it on his notebook, and then 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock comes with the night. And that's what business owners are sometimes like, who have ideas floating around their head. So yes, I do find it a struggle, but finding that balance is important, especially when you've got a family.
Yeah. Do you switch off at any point?
I do now. I didn't used to. I do now. I relax, watch a bit of TV. I'm now on TikTok as well. Oh, God.
I'm a lunatic on TikTok.
Oh, my God.
I love it.
I'm on TikTok.
Sad to say, I love it.
I normally go to sleep on TikTok and then suddenly find the phone's fallen on top of my head. And then
I've actually had a bruise. But yeah.
But that's my release there. And also at weekends, spending as much time as I can at home with the family, going out. And, they talk about making memories. And that's what I want to do, is make memories.
Yeah. I think that's a big thing for a lot of people since COVID as well.
Yeah.
I remember saying the element of COVID that I missed was that my son and I would wake up late. We didn't have no alarm clock. It was lovely.
Yeah.
And then we would, what we're going to have for breakfast, what we're going to have for lunch, what we're going to do this afternoon.
Yeah.
And it was that connection because the whole of his life he's been at school.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's amazing how that time flies with children. And we know that with our daughter as well. I remember her as a 3.5-year-old, and then all of a sudden she's gone to university, and then she's working. She's driving. She drives me everywhere. She started driving at 17 and drives me everywhere. And I think, well, where did that time go?
Yes.
It does go because you're busy working.
Yes. So I do think it is really important. And I'm, doing things, going away with my son this weekend. And it is really important. And I enjoyed that element of COVID, spending time with my family, going to visit, taking time. You haven't got anything else to do, to go and visit. Whereas it's easy to get lost in, I'm constantly working and constantly thinking. So for you to switch off, are you a morning person or an afternoon when you're doing any kind of planning, or do you find after a certain time you just cut everything?
I think I'm probably more of an evening person. That's when I start doing some planning and everything else. Probably around about 9 o'clock or something like that. I switch on my laptop and do some work there, and then I'm ready for the next day. So you feel productive for the next day. You know you're set up for the next day. In the morning, it's just rush. It's just getting up, having a shower, having a shave, feeding the dog.
I didn't know you had a dog. What dog have you got?
I've got a pug.
Oh, cutie.
His name's Leo, and he's 7 years of age. And there's a funny story behind that
Go
as
on
well. Well, my wife didn't want us to have dogs, but my daughter, Jaya, she wanted a dog ever since she was little. And when she turned 16, she'd done her GCSEs. I thought, we're going to get her a dog. The only thing is I didn't tell my wife. And the worst thing was I brought him in on Christmas Day.
God.
And so that I mitigated everything, I had relatives there, I had friends there, because I know she was going to go off the wall about this dog. The dog's only little cute dog. It fits in my hand. I fell in love with it. And I wasn't a dog person beforehand. But we bonded. And so on Christmas Day, it was tense.
How did you hide the dog? Where was the dog?
Well, no, the dog, we'd collected him the day before Christmas Eve. He was in a big old cage and brought him on Christmas Day. Saw the look on my daughter's face, and that was it. You know, that was it. Meant everything there. I could cope with
Yeah,
well,
with
I
everything
thought
else
I
that
could.
came with it. My son, the one thing that he's always said, you know, I love you, mum, but he's wanted a dog
Yeah.
from here.
Give
And
him a
we've had-
dog.
We've had episodes, I can't even tell you. We've nearly got there twice with the dog, and I fell in love with the dog, but we're both too busy.
Yeah.
And
No, that's it.
I do feel that you need to be. It's like having
Yeah.
a child.
Yeah, it is.
You need to be there. So I know he still wants his dog.
Yeah.
And at some point we will get one. So I'm still
Give him a dog.
Yeah, I'm still hiding. So the next thing I want to ask you about is you have so many business accolades and
Yep.
things that you've won. Tell us your favorite one that you've won.
I think, as I was saying earlier on, the favourite ones are where you don't know about them and people vote for you. And so in 2008, I was awarded the Safer Neighbourhood, making Bromley safer. I thought, wow, what have I done to make Bromley safer? I haven't walked the streets. I haven't stopped any criminals. What have I done? And it was basically the work that I was doing in the local community, the bonding of people, the networking, the liaising with the council and everything else. And that was just a huge honour. I still have that award, and that's the one that I always look back to. That's the sort of award that I like to receive, or the community hero award that I got from the Boss Federation, which is the industry federation for printers and stationers. That was a nice award to have, because they obviously recognised the sort of work I was doing during COVID.
Yeah, yeah.
And during COVID, we held 2 sessions every single week on a Tuesday and a Thursday morning, just helping people, whether it's through, managing their finance, legal problems, anything, marketing. How can you market your business? We did that as a group, and Zenat was one of those people there, and it was important to do that. So yeah, no, those are the favourite awards.
Yeah.
The other awards you have to apply for, you have to go through processes, probably.
I
an
didn't know
interview.
you had to pay.
Yeah, on a
It's
lot of
like-
these awards now you have to
No.
pay for awards.
Yeah, I really didn't know, because obviously, a little business is growing.
Mm.
And I really did not understand that you had to pay for some of them.
Yeah.
But as you said, it is nice when you don't know how you got nominated, who
Yeah.
nominated
Yeah.
you, and then you're up for an award.
Yeah.
So well done, because
Thank
you
you.
have worked a lot, and I've always seen you within the community or read about what you've been doing. So for newly launched companies, how would you advise them? I know you're one of the business directors at the startup
Business
Bromley.
support manager.
Business. I've given you need to pay him.
You promoted me.
Promoted him to
Tell the
business
rest, please.
director. What at the top, if you had to choose 3 things that companies need to have starting up a business, would it be branding? Where do you think the 3 main things for them to get to where you are?
I don't think I've got there yet, but it would be nice to. But passion is one of the things. I think you've
Yes.
got to have passion for whatever you're doing, whether you're selling nuts and bolts or you're selling hand cream or whatever you're selling. It's that passion, because passion drives the business there. If you don't have the passion, no one else is going to see that. and
Right.
you're not going to go anywhere. So the passion, I think, is one thing. The vision is another thing. Having the vision, where do you want this product or service to go? Who do you want to help? Who's your target market? And then a plan to get there.
Yeah, plan
So
to
yeah, passion, vision, plan, those sort of things that I think, and hard work and determination.
yes.
Nothing comes without hard work. Nothing comes without determination.
Yeah. And within those, I have to say, we love you, Chandra.
Oh,
Anything you want in Bromley, look for Chandra. He will help you. The importance of networking, because
Yeah.
again, how important is networking? Some people will say, yeah, that's okay. It's not, doesn't really benefit you. I believe in networking. I have quite a few that I go to, and I do think it does help you to gain more knowledge on
Yep.
how the community works, individual businesses, somebody that you might make a connection
Yep.
with. So how important is networking to you and within the Bromley area?
Networking is critical for every business, and even people like accountants and solicitors who are used to sitting behind the desk and
Yes.
business used to come their way. That was the time a few years ago, but now they have to get from behind their desks. They have to be seen as a person. They have to engage with people. And networking, people have a fear of networking, but it's just a group of people together, just a room full of people all trying to do the same thing, is get more business or help each other. That's all networking is. If you raise it to this level, oh my God, I've got to go networking, I've got to prepare my elevator pitch, I've got to do this, I've got to do that,
Yes.
then it becomes something that you don't want to do. But if you think of it, well, actually, I'm meeting a group of really nice people, it's going to be a conversation, and we're having a chance to promote my business, I'm going to educate people about my business. Well, that's the right approach to it, and I think it's something that everyone needs to do.
Needs to do.
Whether it's a small network, and I've worked in networks where there's 4 or 5 people, or a large network where there's 60 or 70 people, or 200 people.
Yeah.
It's that making connections which is important, and then following up and seeing what you can do to help them. How can I help you is the main thing
Is
that you
the main,
do,
yeah.
rather than saying, here's my business card, this is what I
Yes.
sell. Why haven't you replied?
Please buy.
Yeah. So it's developing that relationship, creating that relationship with other people. So
Yeah.
I love it. I enjoy it. My knees always knock. I still do elevator pitches, and I do a weekly networking meeting. I attend other networking meetings to support other groups. My knees always knock. I'm always nervous before any elevator because it's important to
I
me.
would never guess that.
It is. It's that human thing. But I guess it's like when people go on stage
Yes.
or people are performing, you have that adrenaline, you have the nerves and everything else, and you go out on stage and you perform. And that's the way I do it. So I have all those nerves, but I've gone on stage and think, what the hell was I worrying about?
Yes.
It went okay. It went well, So yeah, it's something you learn over a period of time, and not to take anything too personally.
Yeah.
We're all humans. We all make mistakes. We can't be perfect. Things like social media, a lot of them sort of make you try and be perfect, but just be yourself,
Just
because
yourself.
people buy from people.
Yeah. So, if we are a new business venture,
Yep.
how do we find Chandra?
Look on
Where are
LinkedIn.
you?
I live on LinkedIn.
Ah,
That's my favorite platform. I am on Facebook on a personal sort of level. I do share things on there. I'm on Instagram as well, but LinkedIn is
it?
the main sort of platform there, because it's almost like your CV as well. Everyone can see. You can look at anybody and say, and I actually look at that, and if I meet somebody, I say, how did they get to that position? Let me have a look. Let me have a nosy and
And you
think,
go
well,
through.
actually, well, that's interesting. I can understand that, and I think that's really good. And it's a business platform, so everyone's there to build relationships and then hopefully conduct some sort of business. But it's not a selling platform, but a building relationship platform. So just networking online.
So we're looking for Chandra Sharma
Yep.
on LinkedIn, and also at Startup Bromley.
Yes.
And what's your handle on Startup Bromley? What do they look for?
It's at startup_Bromley.
At startup_Bromley. Well, thank you, Chandra, for a really, really enlightening business talk.
I've really enjoyed
We
it.
look forward to having you back again. And I am actually thinking of maybe doing a round table
Okay.
where we have a couple of people to come and talk more business
Yeah.
within the area. So thank you everyone for joining us. This is Cheryl Huggins at the Boss Woman Podcast signing off, and we'd just like to again say thank you to our guest, Chandra Sharma, London entrepreneur.
Thank you very much.
Who's helped all of Bromley. And we look forward to finding out more from you later on. Maybe we might get you to come back again.
I'd love to do that. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Cheryl.
Thank
Really
you.
enjoyed it.
And we're good. Are we on time?
Yeah.
Can I
Yeah.
go to the loo?
Did you like
Can
that?
I go to the loo?
Yeah. Go.
Thank you. Oh, dear.
Where's the toilets,
I'm gonna show
please?
you.
Yeah. Thank you. Excellent. And then I want to. Hi, and can I do a quick have I got time to do a quick thank you?
Yeah.
Excellent. Let me get my phone. I think it's on my phone. I don't know where to sit somewhere. Can I take this off? It looks a little bit different.
ATEM stop recording. Broadcaster stop recording.
Could you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear that.
Was it all right?
Yeah, that was good. That was really good.
This man, what if you're doing a small business in Bromley? That's the man to know. Right, let me. Yeah, basically, I've been nominated for an award,
Okay.
and people have been voting. So I just want to say thank you to them.
Okay.
Let me. Find. Sorry, I wrote it down what I wanted to say, and I bet you I haven't got it in my phone. Oh yeah. So this is just for like my Insta.
Okay. ATEM recording. Broadcaster recording.
Hi everyone. I just wanted to take time to say thank you all so much. I cannot believe the outpouring of love for everyone to say thank you to me for my work as a beauty therapist and makeup artist with the nomination, and I'm a finalist for the London Hair and Beauty Awards. And I'd just like to take 2 minutes to tell you all thank you so much. Keep voting, and I hope I get good news, but if not, it's the taking part. So thank you again, everyone who's voted for me and those that are going to vote, just to say a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means so much for me, and I'm just still so excited that I was even nominated. So to all my customers and clients and businesses that I work with, thank you all very much. And that's it.
ATEM stop
Oh,
recording.
wicked. Thank you. I put my Uggs back on, Jesus.
Oh, let me go check on it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, is it through a door or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't be able to get back in. I had that on Monday at a company I was at. Oh. He's all right.
Really
I
enjoyed
put
that.
your phone there so we didn't forget it.
That's good.
We
Sorry,
need
you're
to
getting
have your-
changed. too much or?
No, it's good. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that you forget that you're recording.
Yeah, no, it felt that way. It's an armchair chat, really.
Yeah,
so, no,
and I think it's nice that where you were saying for people to just express what they're doing, how they're doing. It's not always you know, the millionaires and the 3 stages and you've got to read this book and you've got it's bullshit.
Yeah.
It really is. So it's nice to have just real people.
Yeah.